I'm Ricki King. I'm a historian genealogist. That's what I call myself. And then I own the business Roots of Branches Genealogy. And my research focuses on Iowa Black history. And I really want to tell the story of Iowa's Blacks. Not that they've been overlooked, it's just people just haven't thought about really researching them. So my sweet spot is the part I like to research the best, to 1836 to 1900. A historian looks at like a census record, and I'll explain that in a minute, for a county. What are the occupations a person has, or how many people of a race is there? For a genealogist, I look at it as, I want to know what the family groups are. Who's in that household? Is maybe the neighbor a relative as well? So I'm always trying to connect families together as a genealogist and then tell their story over time. 1840, Nathaniel Morgan was lynched in Dubuque, Iowa. I think I'm the first person to find that he bought land in 1836, 12 years before Iowa was ever a state, him and his wife, Charlotte. He got lynched 5 years after that, and I think that might have been some of the reason that happened. But it didn't cross my mind at the time that he actually even owned land. It never crossed my mind that they were free when they were living here in Iowa, even though Iowa wasn't supposed to have any slaves. I'm like, wow, that one document opened up so much more about him. They were the first lot sold in Dubuque. I learned just because you think someone doesn't own land or they won't be in a book or a document, still look at there. Because I'm sure other people never looked at land because they thought, oh, they don't own land. But finding that land document showed you need to look everywhere, else you're not telling someone's story, you're just following other people's footsteps. So always look, even if you think, it's not going to be there. Take the time to look, because you never know what you might discover that might be the key to open up someone's whole life story. And that's what I want to do, is open up that story. Kitty and Ben Sandridge out of Burlington, Iowa, Des Moines County, they actually came and bought their freedom when they came to Iowa. They came to buy their freedom. And when she died, she left the church $100 to buy a bell. And just last month, I got to Burlington to hear that bell ring. And it was like, wow, this is a bell that was bought in 1865, and it's still here. And they have a plaque on their wall telling you her story and their story. And their headstone actually tells you, she bought Ben's headstone, it tells you about their life. And then when she dies, kids, someone years later told the story and said they paid for their freedom for $1,000. And I was like, but the thing is, like, I'm from Burlington, so that was first of all. And I was like, I never knew that story. And it literally, from where I lived at here on the hill, the next hill was where the church was. I literally walked by that church with the bell growing up and never knew it. And to be able to hear, they ring it to this day, 10 minutes before church starts, to announce church is getting ready to start. And it's like, it just blows my mind at this bell. So I'm sorry. That's my goosebump moment. And my favorite person I had was Julia Graham. She was born in 1857, lived to be 106 years old. She saw the 19th century and the 20th century. She saw horse-drawn farming to gasoline farming. But she also lost 2 husbands. And why I like her so much is because she was able to hold on to the land from her first husband. Usually at that time, the women, once they married, the land went to, or anything they had went to the new husband. Then with her current husband, James Stepp, they opened a Stepp's melon stand that they ran, and then went on to their son, Addie, who lived to be 96 years old, for 117 years. That farm stand ended in 1993. People are still talking about the melons from that stand and looking for seeds. So I'm like, her story, one woman, which is the hardest thing to research, people say, which I think is easiest to research. And we would trace her life through time and her family. And her granddaughter just died this year. So it's like, that's why I like history, because I can tell someone's story and bring it to life that I didn't know her story. I didn't even know anything about her. But now I'm able to tell you about her. And that's why I like to do the genealogy history kind of thing.